Many of y'all have asked me so many questions about what it was like growing up being the youngest of 36 children. And calm down, if you're new here, yes, you heard me correctly. I am the youngest of 36 children born to my father. And I want to answer as many of y'all questions as I possibly can. But there was one particular question that I wanted to answer, and I cannot for the life of me find your comment. So if it was you that left this question, please get in the comment section again and let me know it was you, or comment under your original question. So you asked me, how many of my siblings am I close to? None. Zero. And there are many reasons why, and I'm going to share some with you. So let's start off with the obvious and the simple. Age gap. So you have to understand, my father was in his late 40s, about 48, 49 when I was born. He had his first child when he was 14. So you're talking about a 30+ year age gap and everything in between. I have siblings that are older than my mother. I have nieces and nephews that are older than me. Because of that, I tend to have more in common with my nieces and nephews and closer relationships with them than I do my siblings. In fact, I have a namesake because my favorite niece named one of her daughters after me. Shout out Niecey Pooh. But that ain't the real reason why I'm not close to any of them. This is. When you're the baby of the family, you tend to be the shit disturber. The one who says all of the things that nobody else wants to say and or hear. And because of that, you tend to have very few things in common with PDO3s, sexual deviant protectors and apologists, addicts, so on and so forth. And that is not to say that every one of my brothers and sisters falls into one of those categories, but baby, enough of them do. And I ain't never played that shit. Let me give you an example. When my father passed away, of course, they held his funeral, and I had traveled to go to that funeral. I had, in fact, written his eulogy. And I hadn't been around for many years because I had long since distanced myself. So during the time when I was there, I had made it very clear to everyone, including my brother, and this is the brother that I spoke about that went to prison for being a sexual deviant, and that is putting it lightly. Anyway, I had made it very clear to everyone that I was not to be spoken to by him, that I did not want anything to do with him, that I would not piss on him if he was on fire. Okay? I had made that very clear. Now, he wasn't able to attend because he was on them papers, as he should be, forever. Anywho, he couldn't make it, but he did call. And we were all standing in the kitchen when he called, and my dad's wife had him on speakerphone. And I assumed that he had overheard my voice. And so he says out loud, "Tell my baby sister that her brother loves her." And without thinking, as a reflex almost, I said, "Tell him I said to fuck off and die." Baby, you could have heard a mouse piss on cotton because everybody was like, now, obviously, telling somebody to during a funeral is probably the perfect thing to say. The absolute perfect thing to say. But it was that kind of thing that made me into who I am in my family. The shit disturber. The one that they say is Hollywood, that thinks she's better than them. Because I do. And because I am.